Welcome to Movie Recaps Corner. Today, we shall be looking at the movie Shooter. This is U.S. Special Forces sniper Bob Lee Swagger and his scout Donnie Fenn in Ethiopia. They are providing overwatch for a U.S. convoy. They spot a truck with a machine gun, and Swagger smoothly takes out the shooter and driver, each with a single shot to the head. As they watch the Americans make their way down the road, a group of hostile militia appears. Swagger shoots and kills many of the hostiles. Even though this reveals the sniper's position to the hostiles, Swagger continues to kill the hostiles and protect the Allied convoy. His spotter calls the base and relays the target information. However, the commanding officer decides to abandon them and cuts communication with Swagger and his spotter. The U.S. forces escape and Swagger and his spotter are left. Donnie is killed by the enemy helicopter, but Swagger survives after he shoots down the helicopter using a .50 caliber rifle. The movie jumps to 3 years after those events. Swagger lives in the mountains as a loner from the world that abandoned him. His only companion is his dog. At the same time, in a military office, Colonel Johnson and his associates discuss an operation. They discuss Swagger and decide he is the perfect man for their needs. They travel to the woods to meet Swagger in the mountains. Colonel Johnson explains to Swagger that they have received intel about a planned assassination on the president, with a shot that will be taken from over a mile. Since Swagger is among the best snipers alive, they want him to scout potential places for a sniper and inform them so that they can thwart the assassination attempt. As they leave, Swagger shows admiration for their truck's engine and requests to take a picture, although in reality, he was just pretending so that he could take a picture of their license plate. Swagger attempts to shoot a can of beef stew over a mile. When he nails it, he deduces that whoever wants to assassinate the president can do it over a mile away. He cuts his hair, trims his beard, and starts scouting various locations. After establishing the most likely location, he reports back to Johnson. The colonel asks him to attend the president's meeting so that he can help them in catching the sniper. During the speech day, snipers and federal agents are everywhere. Swagger watches from a nearby office with Colonel Johnson's team. A police department cop also joins them, and Swagger notes that his gun is not properly holstered. As the president approaches the stand, the Ethiopia's archbishop, who was to receive an award, is shot. At the same time, the police officer shoots Swagger in the shoulder. Swagger falls out of a window as the officer continues to shoot at him. The rest pack their things and leave behind Swagger's sniper rifle and the bullet, which implies they want to frame Swagger for the assassination. As Swagger flees, he comes across Agent Memphis, who is only 3 weeks out of the FBI Academy. Memphis flips him over the ground and handcuffs him to a gate. He tells him that we have set up for the assassination. He then takes the FBI agent's car and drives off. He drives to a cash wash to hide from the helicopters. As the car is being washed, grabs a medical kit and tends to his wounds. After leaving the car wash, he is spotted again and the chase ensues. A pickup truck smashes his car. It spins around and he finds himself directly in the line of police officers. He drives in reverse through a construction site as the police shoot at him and goes into the Delaware River. He uses a boat to pull him underneath a bridge and hotwires a nearby truck. He drives all night to Kentucky to Sarah, who is the widow of Swagger's previous spotter. She is startled to see him since she has already seen the news about Swagger. He pleads with her that it was a setup. He gives her a list of things to buy for treating his gun wound. She buys everything and treats the wound to quicken healing and prevent infection. In the FBI offices, the agent from whom Swagger stole the car continues to investigate the case, as he realizes some things do not add up. When discussing it with Lourdes Galindo, he wonders why a highly skilled sniper such as Swagger would miss the president and shoot the archbishop. He also wonders why the ballistics report came so fast after the shooting. After doing some research and chatting in an online gun room, Memphis finds out the kind of gun used in the assassination and realizes it was controlled remotely. When Colonel Johnson realizes that Memphis is trying to uncover the truth about the assassination, he sends agents to kidnap and kill him. They put Memphis in a rig so that he can shoot himself to make it look like suicide. However, Swagger comes to save the day and shoots the man first. He then shoots the second and the third one before freeing Memphis. Memphis believes that Swagger was set up and decides to help him. They drive to Tennessee to visit an old marksman expert. The old man tells them that the only other person who can make such a shot is Michael Sandor, but he is now handicapped. Swagger realizes that the man is the handicapped Russian he had earlier met as an associate of Colonel Johnson. Swagger and Memphis go to the handicapped sniper's hideout. Since they know it is a setup, They put self-made bombs all around the place to use later when escaping. Swagger then kills all the guards and meets with Sandor, who is all alone now. Sandor reveals that the Archbishop was all along the targets because he was about to reveal the American genocide in Ethiopia, where soldiers had killed villagers who had refused a pipeline to pass through their sacred land. The handicapped sniper reveals that Colonel Johnson works for Senator Meacham, who leads a conglomerate exploiting economic assets in developing countries. Sandor reveals that Swagger should know that Sarah has been kidnapped, and then he commits suicide as soldiers surround the cabin. Swagger orders Memphis to start setting off the bombs, and a battle ensues. Swagger starts shooting the soldiers and makes his way out of the cabin as Memphis provides overwatch. A helicopter shows up, but Swagger successfully shoots it down and kills the remaining soldiers using napalm bombs. In a call, Johnson reveals he has kidnapped Sarah, and Swagger reveals that he recorded Sandor's confession about everything. They plan a meeting in a snowy mountain with Sarah being held at gunpoint. The colonel and senator see Swagger walking towards them, and their sniper shoots him, leaving the two smiling. However, it turns out to be Memphis, and he had body armor. Swagger, who is camouflaged in the snow, starts killing the snipers. He shoots all the snipers one by one to the head. He then blows off Payne's thumb and then follows with his hand. When Swagger approaches them, Senator Meacham tries to offer Swagger a job based on his sniper skills, but he refuses. Memphis calls the FBI to their location as Swagger burns the recordings. Although the recording could have proven his innocence, Swagger knows that whoever turns over the recording will be killed to prevent the genocide information from leaking. The senator and Colonel Johnson leave as the FBI helicopters arrive and arrest Swagger. Swagger is brought to the Department of Justice to meet the Attorney General. Memphis shakes Swagger's hand and gives him a bullet, which Swagger puts on his rifle and presses the trigger. However, nothing happens. He reveals that all his guns have their firing pins removed. Therefore, it is impossible that his weapon could have been used to commit the assassination, since it does not work. He argues that the guilty party is Colonel Johnson, and Memphis reveals pictures of the genocide committed in Ethiopia. The Attorney General says he does not have jurisdiction over crimes committed in foreign countries. However, he is convinced that Swagger is in fact innocent and says that he is free to go. He also tells Swagger that justice does not always prevail, and they don't live in the Old West anymore where you can take a gun and clean things up, even though that is exactly what is needed. They exchange knowing looks, which suggests that the Attorney General might be appealing to Swagger to clean things up the old way. In a remote cabin, Johnson celebrates his victory with the senator and Dobler. As they laugh about winning, a dead guard falls in front of them, and Colonel Johnson realizes Swagger is there. Colonel Johnson is shot next through the chest. Swagger enters the cabin and shoots Dobler as well. The senator tries to plead with him, but he shoots him too, and then places the pistol in Johnson's hands to frame him for the murder, just as he had framed Swagger. He breaks the gas line of the cabin and exits the cabin. As he leaves, the cabin explodes and is engulfed in fire. Swagger walks back to the car where Sarah awaits him, and the movie ends with them driving into the distance. This is the end of our recap for the Shooter movie. Consider subscribing to our channel for more videos.